course, so we have the purpose-driven businesses, or businesses which have a strong purpose to them, for whom ESG, climate change, biodiversity, etc., are really logical things and fit nicely with the business. But then, especially in with the struggles that companies have had over the last couple of years, we also have a whole swathe of businesses who are struggling to different degrees, and certainly I talk to business leaders in some of these mid-sized companies with 100, 200 people, and they sometimes say, well, actually, you just feel this whole ESG climate change, it's just another thing for them to address, and it's just too complicated. I'd be interested to get your viewpoint and your response on that.
Absolutely. So it is another thing for them to address, whether they like it or not. There's legislation already in place, and that will continue to be put in place, which means they will have to comply with climate change related issues. So my thoughts on that is, to make a head start on it, right? Treat it as an opportunity that it is, to showcase what you're doing, to play an active role in helping solve the climate crisis, because that is going to resonate with both your internal and your external stakeholders. It's really important. I firmly believe that. I've been doing this a little while now, and when I dabbled in a little bit of private equity, maybe back in 2013, 2014, having done a master's in business and sustainability, they were like, oh yeah, that ESG thing. Oh yeah, we kind of know about that. And but then when you look at how they're assessing their portfolio companies, or assessing their investments, EBITDA and everything, that was the only thing that really mattered. And now it's critical, and it's been amazing to see in a relatively short space of time the transition around that and the focus. And we need to continue that, because we don't have, the climate isn't going to wait for us to get our act together on solving it. We have a very limited window now to roll our sleeves up and get on with it. So it may be complicated, but it's going to be more complicated dealing with the fallout of runaway climate change than addressing it now.
And it's interesting you mentioned private equity there, because I think we're certainly seeing that increasingly private equity investors are looking to ensure that the ESG and climate are addressed properly by their businesses, and it's not just greenwashing, that they have the robust systems underpinning that, so that they can actually show improvement, can generate improvement. And certainly from what we're seeing, they're doing that for two reasons. One is because it helps them to get a higher multiple when they come to sell the business, and the second one is that by addressing, having a proper strategy to address the ESG and climate change, they can actually drive business improvements. They can get more revenue, but also they can, it forces them to look at their processes, to look at how they can apply new technology and innovate in their processes, and actually improve their day-to-day business performance.
Absolutely. And that climate resilience piece is huge now, right? It's the language that ESG professionals are talking. It's huge. It's even within the TCFD framework, and it harpers to the theme of adaptation, as well as climate mitigation. So this transition around focusing on how do we play an active role of preventing the climate from warming too much, 1.5 degrees C ideally, but realistically as low below 2 as we possibly can. But then also the reality that climate change is impacting us already, and we need to adapt our models and our systems and our businesses in order to grow and cope and function in a warmer climate, in a changing climate, in a more sensitive climate, right, with larger risks and things at play. So managing that is critical, and that's what private equity and investors are looking at, to see which companies do have their act together on that, in recognizing that they need to be adapting, and they become more investable if they do show that credibly.
Yeah, and I think it is an enormous challenge for businesses, but also huge opportunities out there for organizations that are positive about how they address this, that really grasp the opportunity and say, yes, we can continue to deliver prosperity, but we're going to do it in a much more sustainable and much lower impact manner. And certainly there are, within the range of companies that one sees in operation, there are enough who are doing that to give hope that we can actually address the climate crisis properly.